Hi. So today's question is, what are the daily activities of a Scrum Master? Sharing the things that I do during my daytime as a Scrum Master. My day is generally structured into two broad things. First is the things that I do regularly every day without fail, which are like preparing for daily Scrum, going for a daily Scrum, and then post after that, things like that. And then there are a few activities or events that I try to change each day. So let's get into it. So first is towards uh, the start of the day. My day starts with, of course, prepping up for the daily Scrum. In that, I try to spend a lot of time on Jira to understand how and what all Jira's issues have changed on since yesterday, last time that I had seen it, when I just before when I logged out. And I try to spend some time on the the items which were there in the parking lot yesterday, and the things that have moved on since then, the impediments that were raised yesterday, if the same still exist, or they have been corrected or sorted out. I try and spend some time on burn down chart as well to understand how the graph is going. Is it going in the right direction? Is it not going as expected? Something on those lines. I try to spend some time on the time tracking part as well to understand how things are being updated on Jira. Is the time tracking part getting updated as expected, as we had planned, or is it more, or is it less? I just try to gauge it for my observation, so that I can keep a note at keep a check on it and make a note of it to bring it back in the retrospective, even if it's more than what was expected or if it was less than what was expected. So that's primarily the prep for daily Scrum. The daily Scrum starts, and I try to keep it within 15 minutes itself. In case there are interruptions, which often they are, there are distractions. There are distractions. The management tries to speak up. The project managers try to intervene. I try often to uh, limit that at the end of the daily Scrum, and if it's very critical, um, I try to reach them prior to daily Scrum, and get those things for me, and see if it should really be put up in between, or that can wait for a later time. So daily Scrum, more often than not, it ends within time, within 15 minutes itself. Later, if there were any things which should have been which require detailed discussion, they are scheduled for a detailed meeting with the team, or whoever should be the mandatory participant from the team itself. If there were any items that came up from the daily Scrum into my parking lot, which I have noted or the team has asked me for their help, I would start to go from top priority to the lower one. If there was any impediment that the team has raised, maybe they are trying to reach out to IT team, but they have not got a or maybe something that requires my intervention, that they are raising it for to me to help them out. I would pick that up. Now this is generally one third part of my day, wherein I spend a lot of time around this only. I try to spend a little bit of time during my daily Scrum itself, maybe at the start, maybe at the end, depending on when I have the majority participation of the team. Because in virtual times, generally people tend to get late a few minutes at the start, or maybe they might not be available at the starting few minutes. So I try to take it up at the end, wherein I open up burn down chart. I show that the progress to them, and I try to point where we are and how we are doing every single day. So this sums up the daily Scrum part. The next two part which do not change every day for me. The first is connecting with PO. Now, connecting with PO and connecting with higher management takes bulk of my time, because many times I get questions like there are impediments which are specific to product owners side. There are some things that can only be resolved through project manager's intervention, or some things which require assistance from the management side. So I try to bring those up in the respective discussions. With PO specifically, I try to bring the jiras which are completed, and try to get, even if it means 15-minute time slot, I try to schedule 15 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever the number of jiras that we are trying to get reviewed. I try to schedule reviews. I call them mini reviews prior to sprint reviews, because if we get those jiras reviewed early on before the sprint review, in case it's going as expected, as per the acceptance criteria, as per the definition of done, it's all good. If not, we would, of course, we would have to rework. We would have to spend some more time as per the feedback that the PO is giving. Now, what happens is it comes to us as having. Now, what happens is it comes to us as an advantage, because we are doing early on. So the team gets some more time to understand the feedback, go through it, and rework onto it, rather than marking that story as not done or still incomplete in the sprint review. We try to take it up early. So this is something that I take it up on priority with PO. Next thing that I do is I try to push PO to prepare exhaustively for our next sprint planning, whatever that is, and try to push him to get the next two sprints in such a shape that the invest criteria is in place, that the acceptance criteria is very robust, and we don't have to rework onto it. The reason for that is, if team finds a gap, um, it would be rework on their part, that they again have to review and revisit it after PO says, okay, now he has finished working on it. Rather than that, I try to push my PO so that he can finish the story in the first time itself, so that when it comes to team, they discuss it, they groom it in such a way that they know, okay, yeah, everything is in place, and then they can just build up the subtask and put up the estimations. I also try to poke PO more often and very frequently to bring up stories which are going to be a priority in near future. I try to push him to go through the done stories, or the 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 increment which has been built up till today, so that he can share bugs early on. Remember, fail fast. So that criteria I try to follow very religiously, at least with the PO, because he's the one who is interacting with stakeholders, who is interacting with customers every day. So he knows the things in and out, or he should be knowing the things in and out, and he would share that vision of the product as just like the customer would do that. So that is something that I try to do specifically with PO. Coming to the next part, wherein I try to discuss things with higher management. Now, with higher management, things are often on the sides of KPIs, wherein we try and discuss the KPIs that they are very concerned about. It can be around defect density, it can be around customers' feedback, it can be around stakeholders' interaction, it can be around, and a lot of time, a majority of the time is put into how we are doing for this particular active sprint in the burn down chart. It's generally around backlog health. Are we do we have enough work for the next 4 weeks, 1 month, or two sprints? So that part generally comes from the PO, and my side comes as a preparatory level if we need to prepare something or we are ready for it. Discussions are often done around feedback, and these are a few things which take up bulk of my time while I'm talking and discussing with the higher management. Certain few minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes also go towards the discussion towards the impediment, which can only be discussed and can only be resolved with the intervention of higher management, whatever that can be. Now comes the second part of my day, which very often changes, and it changes depending on the day, depending on how much interaction I've had with multiple directions. So first and foremost, I try to connect with each team member every single day, um, even if it means 5 minutes, 7 minutes, and even if it means on chat, because having a call every day might not be possible. Next is I try to have one connect call of 30 minutes every single team member I try to connect with once in 2 weeks or once in 1 month. The intention of this discussion is to have a detailed discussion of how we are doing. If there are any concerns, sometimes people are shy, sometimes people are introvert. They sometimes don't want to open up in the daily scrum. They don't sometimes feel intimidated by senior members. They might not be very transparent in many of the discussions, but they want to open up directly to me. Many a times people are new to the organization, to the team, so I try to put them in a comfort zone. So many of the things I try to do in that 30-minute discussion with each team member, and like I said, I try to have a frequency of one person in 2 weeks or one person in a span of 1 month. uh, Next, I try to meet up with the BAs, technical architects, functional architects, functional specialists as well. The intention of these discussion is to push them into their respective direction, to seek feedback, to understand the appreciations as well, to understand the areas of optimizations, how we can improve the way we are working, and how they feel we are doing, and vice versa, how the team feels they can help us, the team more, and get more out of all these people, because these people are experts and maybe specialists in their own respective fields. However, they might not be interacting with the complete team every day, but their expertise, their knowledge is always helpful and always welcome to the team. So giving due attention would always be an advantage to the complete team. Now, coming to the last part of my day, I try and spend on two things. One, I try to spend some personal time of myself on improvement. I try to bifurcate it into technical area, specifically on the technologies that my team is working on, because it brings me to brings me somewhat to what they are working on. It helps me to appreciate what they are doing. From the functionality part, like I said, I meet with the functional architects as well. So I try to spend some time on the architecture that is being built up. I try to see what's new going on the process side as well. So those are three areas. Last part that I do, I again go back to the start of my day from where I started. Again, see what changes have been done on the Jira. The critical parking lot items, have they been resolved, or has some progress happened on them or not? Any place where they had where they were seeking my intervention, has it moved on, or is it does it still require my intervention again, or do I need to sit more with them, or maybe a few specific people, maybe from network team, from infra team, or maybe some person from customer side or stakeholder. I again try to revisit Jira to understand the movement throughout the day, and how the burn down chart is going on. Because next day when I come, I should understand um, the changes that have happened. I try to log off with that note. Of course, some days my working hours and team's working hours are not same, so Next day when I come, I do expect, even if it means minor changes, but yeah, changes are there. So yeah, that's all about my day as a